Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about scamming emails and phishing. My name's Carl Carpenter. I'm with you from Arrakis Consulting, and hopefully we'll have some good information for you on this, especially if you've never, unfortunately, if you've never been scammed or phished, then hopefully that will never happen. But if you have, then sorry. And obviously, scamming and phishing emails have been around for quite some time. I mean, there's a kind of a running joke about about how all of us are trying to get paid by our rich Nigerian uncle that died, millions of dollars. For me personally, it's gone from the point of being offered millions of dollars from my rich Nigerian uncle to receiving invoices now for millions of dollars to go to Nigeria. Because I guess giving me money didn't work, so they're going to have to do it some other way. All right, so what is a scammer email or scam email as opposed to a phishing email? Well, a scam email is essentially an email where you're being asked to provide information because they say they want to help you. But realistically, what they're trying to do is gather information on you. So you'll have one group of people, let's just call them a gang. They send an email and they're trying to get all sorts of information from you. And then another gang that probably works together with the first gang or another group of people, they'll send an entirely separate set of emails, and what they're going to do is try to get some information from this email campaign, then a little bit more from a different email campaign, and then they combine it together. And then you do this 5 or 6 times, and then pretty soon they have a profile on you. And obviously the purpose behind that is as well, if they can get enough information on you, then what they want to do is see if they can get money out of your bank account or maybe take an advance on your 401k, but have that money sent to maybe Nigeria or something like that. Another type of scam email, and we will look at emails, sample emails, so you'll see, is trying to get quotes to purchase equipment, and they'll get equipment ordered, sent out, and then they just won't pay for it. And the idea behind that is that they will hopefully convince an aggressive salesperson or somebody who likes their spiffs or their bonuses to sell the provide a quote and then ship out this equipment, but never pay for it. And then that IT company is still on the hook for that. And then obviously phishing emails are emails designed to have some sort of link where the recipient clicks the link and something bad happens. And that something bad could be deploying a virus, malware, backdoors, exfiltrating data, maybe making a connection, a reverse connection, so a bad actor could get into the computer after hours. Could be anything. So in today's very quick video, we're going to look at some common scams and some phishing emails. So nothing too difficult. And I do want to point out that all the emails are going to show you, it does not take long for these emails come in because everybody's doing it practically nowadays. So let's look at the start of these scam emails and talk about them. So here on this first one, something to point out. It says, "I need your urgent reply now." And then we have Vera Holland, but then the email address doesn't seem to appear like a Vera Holland. It seems to look like it might be a John Kazia or whatever, and it's a Gmail account. Well, if something was really urgent, you'd think that that person would just pick up the phone and so on. Then, so the whole concept of this email is to get you to reply to the email because they're using urgent. They want to get you a sense of urgency. They want you to try to respond as quickly as you can. If you do reply, then they're going to know that the email account is alive, assuming that is being monitored. But this could also be a phishing email where you click the link here and it actually does something hostile or something that you're not planning. All right, this email though, I really like this one. This is funny to me. So this email apparently, let's see, they apparently I'm owed 5.9 million, things like that. Let's look at some things that make this an obvious scammer and possible phishing email. First off, it says United States Treasury Departments. My understanding of the United States government is there's only one Treasury Department. There's not more than one. But if we look into it from the United States Treasury Departments, it looks like it's coming from a car hire place, which is, renting a car, I guess. I didn't look this up, but we wouldn't have support in there anyways. So moving on down the line, let's look at some of the common sense of this. After an official meeting held with the President and Secretary of State. So common sense, would the President and Secretary of State really have a meeting about 5.9 million to some guy in Arizona? Probably not. Who knows? But probably not. Then, if you actually were going to get 5.9 million, this person says they're going to help me free of charge. No one's going to give you 5.9 million and do it for free. There's going to be some catch somewhere. Plus, they're going to take care of all the cost and whatever. But the interesting thing about this is they're also asking for information: full name, home address, phone number, occupation, and age. So while my full name may be very obvious, because they obviously knew to try to target me for something, the occupation and age probably won't be, which could be the fact that they're trying to gather information so they can compile all of it and see what they can do to adjust my bank account negatively for me. But if we continue to look farther down, we have United States Treasury Departments. Let's just pretend that this was not a car hire email address. Down here, would the United States government actually use a Yahoo account to communicate? Probably not. So this is an awesome one, a perfect example of a scammer email. But there's more. Let's look at this one. This one's pretty awesome too. Instead of 5.9 million, now it's 95 million. And they want to give me 95 million because they want me to set up a charity. I don't know what's funnier, the fact that they want to give me 95 million or somehow or another they think I know how to set up charities, because that is not an accurate feature or attribute of my personality, is to do that. But again, it's the same thing. We have Dr. Mac John. It's probably John Mac, and the person who doesn't have English as a first language can't distinguish between a first and last name. But root at plintron.net. And then here we have Dr. John Mac 452 at gmail.com. So is this person emailing themselves from a company to a Gmail account? This is all suspicious right in here, just in this part alone. All right, then down here in this, kindly get back to me for directives on how to get the fund. No American is going to say, kindly get back to me for directives. They would word it differently. So this is a clear indication that English is not the first language, and it's probably a bad website or a spammer email. And then again, at $95 million, would we really use WhatsApp to talk about $95 million? Probably not. All right, but this is the one I really like a lot as an example for scammer emails, because we can get down and dirty and the more technical on this. So this is where we have this guy, Robert Welsh, Texas Health Resource, is asking for a quote of 65 units of the HPZ book. So this is a perfect example of an email coming in under the hopes that there's going to be a salesperson that is going to provide a quote, reply back to this person, and then under the pretense that there might be a sale out of it. So, salespeople get real excited about that sort of thing, things like that, and they want the sale so they can get their bonus. Well, how do we know? This is, by the way, this is a fake email to begin with, but how do we know this is accurate? Well, first off, we could call this number right down here. That's common sense, right? The problem with this is that Google Voice allows you to have a US-based phone number, but it can be picked up in another country. So this phone number, while it's US-based, maybe it even actually is in Arlington, Texas, may actually be picked up in Yemen or Kuwait, or maybe Nigeria or Liberia. Who knows? It could be any one of those places. So another way of checking is you could call, find out the Texas Health Resources, find out their phone number, and call and speak to this guy and ask him, hey, did you send me a request for a quote on 65 units of HPZ book? And that guy, I guarantee, is going to say, no, it's a scam. But from the technical standpoint, how can we figure out that it's a scam without making any phone calls? Well, we need to look at the details of the email itself. So we go to File, Properties, and in this area, we're going to scroll through this and see if we can find anything that validates the email or invalidates the email. So what we're looking for are IP addresses or maybe domain names that don't look right or correct. So we'll just go scroll through here. This is an IP6 domain name or IP6 email IP address. Looking at TLS 1.2. Okay, here's our encryption ciphers, things like that. Here is more encryption stuff. All right. Oh, we got an IP address right here, so we could look that up, and that may or may not come back solid. I can tell you for a fact it does come back. It's a good IP address. But is that the only IP address? So if we just keep on going, okay, there's another one. That's probably the same one, I think. Yep. So we just keep on going. So we're not seeing anything yet. There's a bunch of gobbledygook in here, which is not relevant for us. We have another Robert Welsh going to me right here on this date, April 26th. Moving on down, we have another IP address right there. Let's look at this. Let's look at this one part right there first. So first off, it's Greco at creaticastaging.com. That does not look like a Texas Health Resource domain name. So we could look that up just simply by typing it in and going to the website. Here we have WP. That stands for WordPress. So the fact that I see WP content, I know they have a WordPress website, but that also means that this website's probably compromised. But if we look up here, we have an IP address, 136.144.4335. So if we went to whois.sc and looked up that IP address, lo and behold, look at this. It is based out of Saudi Arabia. So you may ask yourself, why would somebody send a fake quote to an IT company in the hopes of getting, being able to, buy 65 HP Z books or whatever? It's because what they do is they place these orders. They'll give you either one of two things. They'll give you a fraudulent credit card, or they'll write you a check that says, we'll write a check and then cash the check and send the money, or they'll cross ship you the check while you're cross shipping the equipment. They're going to ask you for a tracking number, things like that. Once they have the tracking number, they can reroute that package to any sort of place they want. But if they send you a credit card number, they'll just simply, it's just fake, and that credit card number is probably stolen as well. But in the meantime, the IT company has placed an order with like Tech Data or Ingram Micro or whatever. And Ingram Micro and Tech Data are going to want their money, regardless of the fact that you got scammed or not. So this is also one of the reasons why within Arrakis, we don't sell anything without taking payment up front, and it has to be in a specific format. So we don't do checks. It's wire, ACH, things like that. So this is a perfect example of a scammer where they're trying to get a eager IT salesperson to provide a quote. All right, let's look at some phishing emails real fast. So here's a phishing email. So final update warning. Again, they're trying to implement a sense of urgency, like we've told you for the last time, things like that. And they want you to, just not read and just click things. So they're saying to continue using your email address, and that's my email address right there. Please confirm your ownership. So they're asking me to confirm the email address that I'm using in order to even get this email. So they're asking me to do that. But then it's coming from a Hotmail account. Much like if it came from AOL or Yahoo or whatever, I question anything from some of the older domains like AOL, Yahoo, Hotmail, and I'm furthermore having a harder and harder time to trust Gmail accounts. So it's getting to the point now where if it's not a custom domain like arrakisconsulting.com, then it's dangerous. So what they're trying to get me to do is either click that link, which will have something hostile attached to it, or click this link, which will have something hostile attached to it. And this hostile action could be dropping malware, backdoors, exfiltrating data. It could be anything. And we don't really want to, figure out what it is. Now, obviously, with Outlook and Azure, we have some protections we can just have naturally turned on, like safe links. Not a big deal, and it's kind of common across multiple companies to do that. But there's other technology that can also be implemented that we'll talk about in a minute. All right, here's another example, and thankfully our last example too, because it's coming on into almost 20 minutes of this video. All right, payment confirmation says kindly find attached the invoice. Well, the invoice is not attached because the protective mechanisms I have has already realized that it's dangerous and gotten rid of it. But that invoice is most likely a PDF file, could be an Excel file or a Word document. All of those can hold hostile malware packages, things like that, which would not be good for me. But if we just look at this from a common sense standpoint, it says payment confirmation, they're attaching the invoice from Hotel Zaza. I don't ever recall going to Hotel Zaza, therefore, common sense, this must not apply to me. Plus, my first letter in my name is lowercase. That's just not common practice in the English language to name somebody with a lower letter. But again, further, if we look, Hotel Zaza, it does not look like at this email address here does not look like it would go to a hotel account. It looks more like Saladin IDZ, whatever that means, something like that. So, and these are just some examples of some scam and phishing emails and purchasing scams, things like that. So they're all out there. So, in relation to this, how can we protect ourselves? Well, first off, slow down. Just because you got an email doesn't mean you're supposed to click on anything in it. Read it first, figure it out. If it's from somebody you don't understand and they're asking you to do anything, question it. Call your IT people, call your cybersecurity people, figure it out. Use common sense. Look at the details of the email and see if you can find inconsistencies. Common inconsistencies with scammers would be like spelling is screwed up, in grammar is incorrectly, or maybe even the incorrect use of words, because some of the words in the English language aren't in all other languages. I can remember an email from several years ago where they were talking, the word skull was not in their language, so they had to call it brain cage because skull just didn't exist in their language. So obviously that would be a hostile email. What you're looking for is anything that indicates that English is not the first language, or the way they're wording things, the way they're asking questions, that they're probably trying to compromise you in some way or another. But the biggest thing you can do is really just slow down in relation to reading emails. Don't blast through them. All right, now, obviously, there's other methods of preventing this. There's technology you can deploy. Arrakis does offer those services as possible deployment options if you need it for your company or yourself. So helping to stop phishing or scamming before it even gets to your computer. But if it does get to your computer, possibly stop it from there. And even if you accidentally, you went fast and you click the link and something bad starts to happen, we even have technology that can help prevent that from becoming worse than what it is. And with that, everyone, thank you for your time with me today. It's a short video, 20 minutes long. Feel free to subscribe. Won't hold it against you. Would appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it comments. And if you need any help, please feel free to reach out. Sales at arrakisconsulting.com, or you can go to the website and leave your information there. With that, I will talk to you guys later. See ya.